What do you do when you're exhausted of trying to dodge idiots on the road? You go out in the waters to calm yourself down. Sadly, however, we still have idiots that make that place just as dangerous as well. Welcome everyone to another episode of Idiots on Boats, and this time we have quite a collection. Without further ado, let's jump in and see what we have in store today. Large ships like these need a lot of time and distance to stop, and the captain of this one miscalculated his approach. The ship scrapes along the side of the wall, crushing its anchor in between and leaving it in two pieces. Poorly built, don't you think? Road rage is a very common thing, but raging over a boat? Now that is a sight to see, and this old man seems to be absolutely fuming. He wasn't done talking either as he turns around and comes back for round two.
I'll fucking smash you. Yeah, sure. What? You're going to jail, pal. Yeah, I'm going to jail? Yeah. Well, you're fucking illegal. You gonna call the cops? You're a fucking
Someone let a dummy behind the wheel of this boat, and instead of being careful, he simply rips the throttle, sending the boat with him all over the place, hitting and mounting another boat in the process. Sailboats are just a hazard to be around, and the larger the sail, the more difficult it becomes to control these things. Watch this one hit a few boats out of its way as the team desperately tries to take back control. These young boys decided to take their dad's fishing boat on a little spin. The spin part goes wrong as they first pull a wheelie on the boat and flip the thing over, almost drowning in the process too. First things first, this cameraman had a seizure while recording this because of lack of stability. But he did manage to capture this other ship take down a crane with it as it hits and pulls the structure along with its arm. Looks like someone got their boat stuck on the docks, and now the only way to get off is by hammering down the rudder. Imagine how dumb that would look to someone who was just walking by and saw you breaking your own boat. Where there's a party pooper, and can you spot which one it is? Well, here's a hint, they're not on the boat. Yet. Just wait and find out what happens next. Looks like someone miscalculated the size, speed, and distance of their boat, and that led to a crash that probably was covered by a lot of paychecks as a compensation. Goes to show just how difficult handling these ships can be. Speaking of which, I heard that only the best of the best with years of experience get to pilot these cruise ships because of their massive size. Unfortunately for this ship, however, the captain was a little less on the experience side. This person films as a ship that is almost double the size of his own fails to stop on time, and not only hits the ship he's on, but also the little bridge at the front while cars are still driving over it. This here was probably the last time this family sat on a pontoon boat. The person piloting it makes sure to hit a wave that almost submerges them and gets yelled at by almost everyone on the boat, especially the kids. These three are clearly on a boat that was designed for a single person, but it was too late now, and the best they could do was accept their fate and go down in style. This long barge also comes in for a hard landing at the docks, and it almost seems as if it had lost power, or the captain had lost all senses when it came to braking. Even the guy on this boat knows that this is a very stupid mistake to make. On the other hand, here's why I believe that big ships shouldn't come near to docks that hold smaller boats, because this behemoth almost sank all of these boats just by moving past them.
Oh my god, the boats are getting crushed.
This is the mast of a sunken sailboat, a reminder for the person responsible that he was the one who caused this. He can now come back and see this as a reminder to not repeat the same mistake again. What do you do when your boat gets out of control and you're approaching a group of people at full speed? You keep the throttle on like this guy, of course, who crashes in the most cartoonish way possible. Reverse parking is something a lot of people fail to do with their cars, and the same is true for boats. Only thing is that it costs about 100 times more. However, he's not done yet and goes ahead, smashing his yacht again.
Bravi! Stavo giusto dicendo, quello lì è arrivato forse sul
Jet skis are not for the people who don't even know how to ride a bike, and this lady proves it as she simply crawls all over another rider. It was probably oops, my bad sort of moment.
This chick, Sunny's, she's fast. Oh my God!
After investigating this boat for anything suspicious, this cop heads on back to his boat. But the journey back turns wet instantly as he falls down into the water, making his grand exit into something to laugh about. Looks like someone was following Google Maps for a shortcut and took a full 7 business days to realize they need to stop. However, it's pretty clear that it was too late at this point. While turning in reverse, this poor boat gets clipped by the other boat, probably because it was in one of the blind spots. I'm sorry, did I say clipped? I mean absolutely destroyed. Here's another video that just proves my theory that sailboats shouldn't be allowed on the water now. By the time the man takes the sail apart to stop the boat from going everywhere it shouldn't, it's already caused a lot of damage. Jet skiers are like the cyclists on the road. Nobody wants them around because they do stuff like this. A stop frame shows us just exactly what happened to the rider, and trust me, it is funny. Here's another one that probably thought he could pull off a move and look like James Bond, but ended up diving headfirst into the water as the jet ski threw him off after hitting a wave. The dumbest thing you could do is try to run into a big wave with your small boat and then try to ride along it on your way back. If you didn't try that, this person did that for you, and you can clearly see that the results are just not worth it. Similarly, this guy also jumped right into an oncoming wave and went entirely vertical, making for a landing hard as a rock. God knows how he survived that. Rough waters are nothing to shy away from for these guys, but on this day they learned a very valuable lesson, and that was to either not go in them in the first place or hold on tight. As soon as the other guy came on board this teeny tiny boat, things only began to fall apart. They're clearly too drunk to be on the thing, and the more you look, the worse it gets for these two. This party boat also takes a turn for the worse when the overcrowded and overweight boat, coupled with the brilliant piloting skills of the captain, cause it to sink down below slowly. Looks like the party ended before it even got started. This is what they call getting yourself in hot water, but this time it might not be hot, but it is literally water. But that doesn't matter for these guys as they're determined to reach shore in any shape or form. Tourists will make sure to fill boats to the brim just so they can get things over with and not wait for the next ride to come. This boat too met the same fate, and things got even worse when the boat began to rock and threw everyone overboard. If you do end up on a jet ski, make sure to stay clear of the bigger boats and ships, otherwise you might end up like this guy who thought he was the best jet ski rider out there. Just when you thought people in big yachts would take care of their rides, this guy comes along and shows you exactly the opposite. Not only does he hit the side of his boat against the wall, but also manages to hit the bridge right in front of him with no hints of stopping. Here's the aftermath of a similarly minded individual who has his boat stuck on the shore and now is being rocked off the stone wall. Here's the perfect example of someone who has more money than sense. This guy's having a lot of trouble trying to maneuver his ship away from the wall, but now the damage is already done. Even the cops can have a difficult time trying to control these things. Watch as this officer comes in on maximum attack and hits the wooden pontoon while other officers are still on it. One of them almost falls into the water too. You know it's someone's first time trying to ride a boat when they end up going all over the place. This individual's the perfect example of just that. On the other hand, this guy got his hands on a speedboat, and as far as he's concerned, speed is the solution to conquering big waves. The only downside being a lot of smacking and backaches. Speaking of speedboats, these guys were going at a whopping 102 miles an hour. That might not sound like a lot, but it feels way faster on water than on land. The genius pilot decided to make a small turn that ended in a big disaster. Here is another maniac that was speeding on the water and then suddenly made a false turn that made him climb out of the water and drag his boat along the rocky shore. Super yachts are massive, and that makes them difficult to handle. This big blue boat wreaks havoc on the docks as the pilot tries his best to take control of the boat, but to no avail. This complete idiot of a captain made sure he hit both the boats he was trying to slide between. I hope they made him stop and pay for the damages, because that's utter nonsense. Ships might seem impenetrable, but when you hit one at a great speed into a concrete wall on the side of the shore, that's when you know that they're actually pretty fragile. That's one big hole. It's not always the waves that give these things a hard time. Sometimes the wind also shows them a thing or two, and no matter how hard the tugboat tried, the wind still pushed this unanchored ship to the side.
Oh! Kissing it! Kissing it! Oh! Connection, baby. Holy moly. It damn.
Two geniuses controlling these tourist boats decided to race one another. In the heat of the moment, they forgot to take care of the smaller boat in between them and literally squished it. Now that's what you call a quick escape. A Japanese bulk carrier ship that, like the previous cruise ship, also forgot to anchor down on time and loses control right at the pier, destroys the place with its body and the waves it caused.
Virgen Santísima.
Looks like someone decided to take a shortcut down this little canal. The ship is clearly too big for this place, and now all they can do is sit back and enjoy the destruction they cause around them.
What the fuck?
Ever heard of spawn killing? Well, that's exactly what happened to this boat when it sank as soon as it was launched for the first time into the water. Bad design or just carelessness? Comment down below. When hauling a tube behind boats, the captain needs to take extra care when turning and leading into the tube. However, this one did no such thing and led the tube right into another boat. The Dutch cargo ship La Primavera hilariously crashed into a lockgate at Iffesheim, Germany on the 11th of November 2023, causing 1.5 million euros in damage. Now only one lock works and shipping might be in a lockdown for a while. Looks like someone got a little too close for comfort for these cranes as the ship takes them out one by one. This is why angles matter while docking against the wall, and that is easily millions worth of damage. After losing power just at the worst moment, this barge turns sideways and hits the supporting pillar of this bridge. Thankfully, the bridge didn't fall down this time.
Holy.
How are we gonna get going?
Did the guy not see us?
Just like small boats, big ships also need to be tied down at the docks to stop them from moving too much, and without proper anchoring, this is what happens when the strain gets too much on the ropes. It is only after colliding with another ship, the captain of this ship ordered the anchor to be brought down. He took a full 3 business days to react, and it's a little too late now, don't you think? This poor tugboat has seen better days and gets squished between a runaway ship and the pier behind it. These little guys are actually pretty powerful, but not powerful enough. The ship that hilariously collapsed Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge also crashed in Antwerp's port in 2016. Knowing for hitting quays and bridges, Dolly is a wrecking ball of the seas. Reuters confirmed its identity through matching ship details and infamous Dockside antics. Autopilot might be great and all to relax and take a breather, but it seems that the smaller boat went to sleep after turning on the autopilot. The ship comes in hot and hits the bigger guy who probably didn't even receive much damage. A 135-meter long, 18-meter high cargo ship hilariously collided with a bridge at Batsawagan in Rhineland. No casualties, but the ship got a serious bridge kiss. A teenager spotted the accident caused by the skipper's inability to lower the movable wheelhouse. Looking at the state of this boat makes you think that these guys just don't care about what they hit at this point, as they scrape the ship along the wall and hit another ship parked right in front of them too. Don't you ever just feel like taking a nap while standing randomly? Yeah, that's what happened to this ship, it seems, when it started falling over to its side, and at this point, there's nothing anyone could do, honestly. Unlike the Titanic, not all ships are afraid of icebergs. Some people take it straight on, either because their ships are made for it or they're just plain stupid. I guess this guy's the latter. What remains a mystery is that why do people still think it's okay to bark such big ships together with one another? Crashes like these are bound to happen, and that costs up to millions of dollars. These ships cost millions or billions of dollars, yet they don't have backup cameras, as it seems that this cruiser reversed right into the dock, causing it to break and also leave a massive dent on the ship. The captain of this ship forgot to let the ropes off before they left the port, and that resulted in a whipping event for the ship's back end. Just know that these things might snap a person in half. The pilot of this ferry, on the other hand, thought he could drift through this dock and cause no harm to anyone, and ended up doing quite the opposite instead. The ship literally bounces off the dock, and only then does it correct itself. This luxury yacht was on a death clock. Due to massive holes under its hull, the yacht began to sink slowly, and it was now on to the idiot who did it in the first place to make it to shore before it completely submerged. Good rivals raced together and crashed together. Two race boats who were neck to neck in a straight line encountered the same problem when the wind picked them up and threw them on their backs. Jet skiing is fun until you think you can pull the same stuff as a professional, and these guys went flying in the air when the rider decided to mount a wave. They both came crashing down as they dismount their ride mid-air. Here's another water rager that used his boat to push another guy out of their place. It seems almost harmless, but it's only when the other person punctures a hole in your boat that things start getting messy.
Well, quit fucking pushing us! Oh, dude. Holy shit.
This guy thought that a jet ski might have the same brakes as a bike and went full speed into a pier while trying to brake, only for him to be thrown off and land right back on it. Now, this might seem like a harmless incident, but when you go from 74 miles an hour to a dead stop in 1 to 2 seconds, you know that's gonna be very painful.
Flat out at 70.
Flying down this current, this speedboater and his pal make the mistake of turning a little too hard and go crashing sideways. Always watch your 6 for idiots on a jet ski when cruising down the water. These guys are a hazard to everyone and themselves. This crazy boat driver whips the people on the tube to the side, sending them literally flying in the air and crashing back into the water. Nobody was harmed in this, YouTube. Here's another captain that was probably too sleepy or drunk to drive this ship and crashes into the pier, causing millions in damages to the boat and to the equipment he just sank into the water. Just when you think you've seen it all, here comes 3 guys on a boat running from the cops. GTA, anyone? Here's how you shouldn't launch a ship. One small mistake leads to the whole team going back to the drawing board. Someone's definitely getting fired today. If you're wondering why your shipment is late from Amazon, just know that this is the most likely reason. Somebody forgot to take the mast down before going under a bridge. Now that's what you call a well-deserved lesson.
Tack nog, Dane.
This captain brought this container ship a little too close to the other ship while docking, and this led to damages that might lead to people still waiting on their rice cooker they ordered from Amazon. Slowly but surely, the two ships out in the vast open still managed to collide into one another when one of the captains thought they could pilot around the white boat. I believe that because this guy was standing, the man operating the boat couldn't see in front of them, and this led to a crash.